I'm Subrata Roy, journalist from Maharashtra. I'm going to talk today on the Afghanistan situation and the impact of recent developments in Afghanistan on not only in South Asia but also in other parts of the world. Uh, Before talking about the effects of what has happened, uh, a common question needs to be first addressed. The common question is people are asking and speculating on is why did United States of America pull out of Afghanistan? I will reframe the question. I will say, I will ask, why did the United States of America let loose the terrorist organization called Taliban on Afghanistan? So it is kind of a harakiri in which the Taliban is helping some international powers to forward their own interests in Afghanistan. I'll come to that later on. But then the question comes. The obvious question is that why did United States of America leave in the manner in which it left Afghanistan? I would say that it was not a knee-jerk kind of reaction, or it was not something which was unplanned. In 2020, in February, there was an agreement between Taliban and United States in which they said that there will be a transfer of power. So the power will be actually transferred between Taliban and Afghanistan. It was not that the Taliban actually attacked its own country. No. So it was not a harakiri. It was an arranged, it was a fixed match between the NATO forces and Taliban. Now, one would naturally ask, why should NATO and Americans would want to leave a country which it has nurtured in the first place for several years? Why should it do that? It has spent so much money in Afghanistan. It has cultivated its own establishment there. Why should it do that? And not only that, they have invested in Afghanistan. They have also ensured that institutions are built within Afghanistan. But those things are fine. But the main aim of the United States of America and NATO forces was not nation building. Nation building was not the aim. The aim was a geological survey, which they did. The geological survey would obviously, naturally, it revealed that Afghanistan is full of minerals and oil, apart from gold and other minerals. So there are three points which now emerge out of the immediate discussion which I had. One is that Taliban and United States had an agreement to transfer power. Two, why the transferred power is to be founded. Three, there was geological survey done, and a lot of minerals and material, very much in demand today, tomorrow, were located and found out. So the immediate question would be that why should NATO and America do a geological survey on Afghanistan, and after having found minerals, leave? They would rather continue with the exploration and mining, etc., etc. They would have kept control of Afghanistan and continued doing it. No, it wouldn't have happened because there were forces, there were pressures, international pressures happening already. The Azov port, which is in Uzbekistan, that was being blocked by Russia on the Black Sea by its huge naval presence. And I believe, it is my perception that there must have been kind of an agreement between NATO forces and the Chinese axis, which is recently built between China, Iran, Russia. Turkey is, of course, part of it. So Russia was doing a sort of a proxy, arm twisting there. They knew that this agreement had happened, and around the same time, when Afghanistan was going to face the Taliban power transfer, this withdrawal took place. The entire navy of of Russia backtracked, and obviously there was an agreement between NATO forces and the Chinese bloc. China has got many countries under its thumb because of its economic policies and because of its expansionist kind of approach. So NATO forces and the Chinese side agreed upon something, and they said, okay, let's have a level playing field on Afghanistan. We will withdraw, and then we will together explore Afghanistan for its natural resources. So this might seem a little artificial, because why should people, get into these kind of agreements after leaving? So there was a time lag between the decision of United States in February 2020 and the blocking of Azov port of Uzbekistan. So it was an afterthought on the part of China, Russia, Iran axis, that they would block the port, and international trade between Uzbekistan and the other rest of the world would be blocked. So obviously they would come on the table for negotiations, and that's what happened, according to my understanding. Now, why should such major powers actually fight for Afghanistan? That's the next question. Is, as I told you, that there is a huge and easy availability of natural resources like lithium, cobalt, zinc, copper, and other minerals, apart from crude oil, gold. These things are plentifully available there, abundantly available in the mountains of Afghanistan. And there are 2-3 things which actually the topography helps in oil exploration. The oil which they would get in Afghanistan is going to be, the exploration charges, costs will be much lesser than what they would actually get from the other parts of the world. That's one thing. Secondly, is the minerals would be available easily to explore, or to break through on the mountains. They don't have to go deep into under the soil. They can easily access these precious stones, minerals, as I told you, lithium, cobalt, zinc, etc., copper, etc. Now, we would naturally ask, why should people, go after lithium, cobalt, zinc? Now, the crux of the matter comes here, is that there was a publication in December 2019 by some Chinese writers and scientists that they made a prediction saying the demand for lithium and these minerals, which I just told you, is rising, and it is going to touch by the year 2050. It is going to, the lithium demand is going to cross 1.6 million tons internationally, and similarly for the other minerals. Why this is going to happen? Because of switching over to battery operated vehicles. Now, when we say vehicles, it does not only mean the commercial vehicles and the other cars sector, public transport sector. No, it also means the military. So military vehicles will also perhaps use these cells, and vehicles could, maybe even the helicopters and some aeroplanes and drones might require these batteries. And for that, the use of lithium, the demand for lithium, cobalt, zinc is going to skyrocket. So, what is the point in actually having a civil war situation in Afghanistan? If they wanted to explore, they could have jointly done an exploration without all these the civil war. This is the final question which I'm asking to myself and to everybody else. This is happening because I'll give you a small example in this. If suppose tomorrow the government of India or any other government comes to know that under your building, the building you're staying in, the bungalow building, whatever you're staying, under that there is some mineral, which is even in small concentrations, if they find the mineral, it is going to be of great national wealth for the development of the country, so-called development of the country. So what they would do, they would come and approach you, say that, look, there is this mineral under your building, so we will give you alternative place to construct your house. We will fund you for that. Compensation will be given. You can shift there. We will, and by law, the government can do it. Now the problem is, if the mineral is only limited to under your building, it is fine. The government can spend that money to compensate to you. But if the mineral is there in your entire country, how will they displace people, and how will the compensation come? How is it possible to give compensation? The whole of Afghanistan is full of the minerals, oil, etc., etc. So they cannot displace the whole population somewhere else, compensate for them. They have to create another country for it. So the best thing to do is to create fear psychosis amongst people, to ensure that people leave Afghanistan. One, two, bring in Taliban. Automatically, there is again going to be an outflux. People will start leaving, and the next step is the warlords are going to fight amongst each other, and there's going to be a civil war situation where again the population is going to come down. So, according to my estimates, I feel at the end of this the civil war in Afghanistan, there could be a drastic reduction in population of Afghanistan, which would open the doors for China, Iran, United States, Russia, and all these countries, NATO countries, to be able to explore natural resources. Not only that, China has its own plans of linking Central Asia with Europe through its Sea Silk route, all these things. So the final analysis is this is a war of economics, but at what cost? A huge cost to humanity. This is a crime against humanity.